I have a hearing impairment, which works real well with my wife. But if you guys will try to stay on board. So let me tell you a little bit about myself. First of all, I want to thank you all for being here tonight. Honest to goodness, I'm overwhelmed. I really am. Had no idea that the reruns were such boring on Sunday night that you had to come down here to listen to this. Hopefully I can keep your interest. I can tell you that there is a large amount of passion that will emanate from me tonight about bears. I have, give you a little bit about my background. I started July 1st. I started my 48th year as a game warden. That's ridiculous, isn't it? My wife can't figure out why I don't retire, but I've been blessed. I don't go to organized religious places because I work in my church. Okay? And I have been blessed every single day of my career to be out there. And that's why I can't give it up. If you ever see that black truck around, I usually carry a Rottweiler with me. Okay? He's not friendly. All right? All my other ones have been. His name is Armageddon. And he fits it, I'll guarantee you. So don't ever walk up to that truck. I didn't bring him tonight. He looked at me off the couch and it was kind of like, Bob, there's nobody going to show up. I'm not going. So, anyways, 48 years I've been a wildlife officer. Back in 1996, I was honored as Officer of the Year in Colorado, voted on by my peers. I was voted Officer of the Year by the National Wild Turkey Federation for the work that I've done with Merriam's turkeys all over the state, transplanting turkeys. In 2001, I was selected Wildlife Officer of the Year in North America. So, I appreciate that. The only reason I say that is that shows you how bad wildlife's in trouble. If I'm the best they got around, that's a bad situation. The reason I say that, guys, the reason I say that about the awards and Laura's heard this before, and I'm very serious about it. That means nothing. Absolutely nothing. You don't know what I did yesterday or 20 years ago or whatever. It doesn't matter. To me, as a wildlife officer, as a game warden, you have to prove yourself every single day. Okay? You do not rely on your past, your history, whatever. Nah, that's long gone. You do what you can every single day for wildlife. And for you guys to show up like this, it's pretty heartwarming, right, Laura? I mean, it shows me that you care about bears. And I can tell you right now, you're probably not the people that need to be here. It's probably the people that live next door to you that, oh, no, they won't come into my house, or they won't tear down my bird feeder, or things like that. So we have to be educating people daily as we can. So I'm going to jump right into it. If you have questions, please raise your hand. I'll try to answer them. Like I say, I do have a hearing impairment. I'm not sure my wife put batteries in my hearing aids today, but we'll give it a try. Okay? Let's start with this guy right here. And I'm going to need a volunteer. Ma'am? No? You don't have to. Okay, you good?
I'm good.
Can you turn around and face the other way? The other way. The other way. Guys, I'm not going to talk about this. I just wanted to see if she'd do it. Turn around, face the other direction. Guys, what kind of bear is this? Black bear. How do we know it's a black bear? What?
It's black.
Because it's black. Guys, what I'm here to tell you is it doesn't take a whole lot to be a game warden in Colorado. If you know your colors, you're halfway there. I got it made. Guys, this is a black bear. The Native Americans that lived and hunted where you live, where you recreate, worshiped this animal. Worshipped him for his speed, for his strength, for his power. This bear right here, tear the door off of any car out here in this lot. But they don't do it. And we'll talk about that here in just a bit. They can run as fast as a horse for a short distance. Do not, please guys, do not ever try to outrun one. You're not going to. If they decide to chase you, I will guarantee you they'll catch you. Okay? It used to be, I would hear this, that a bear can run faster uphill than it can downhill, you know, and all that. That's bunk. I can't use BS because he's filming it. Because if that were true, that'd be the way to go. But I'll guarantee you, if you run away from a bear uphill, he's going to catch you. If you run downhill, he's going to catch you. In fact, he'll be sitting at the bottom with the catching hook waiting for you. Guys, I got to tell you right now, if you get nothing else from this program, which you won't, if you get nothing else from this program, their aggression is highly, highly overrated. Okay? Black bears are easily intimidated. And we'll go into that a little more. But please, please, what we have taught children and things like this is that anything with teeth and claws is going to hurt you. Guys, the worst experience I've had in 48 years is with a cow elk. Wasn't with a bear. I got bit last summer. Had a bear bite me in the arm. That cow elk had more intention of killing me than the bear did. Okay? So, the Native American worshiped this guy. Strength, power, speed. Walks on his hind. Thank you. Give her a round of applause. But guys, there was another reason that the Native American worshipped this animal. This animal walked on its hind legs. To the Native American, was it part human or are we part bear? My personal opinion, I'd rather be part bear than have him be part human. Okay? Every year, when the Native American would be camped in their summer camps and things like that, they'd see bears all over. In the fall, in the oak brush, they'd see bears all over. Then winter hit, they didn't see any more bears. Nothing around their tents, no tracks, nothing. But in the spring, They would see those bears coming out from hollow logs, or under rocks, or out of caves. And to the Native American, that was a spiritual experience. And I'll be honest with you guys, I would like to hearken back to those days. It was a spiritual experience because Mother Earth, the only place that we have to live, the only place that we have to live was giving us back the bear. Out of under rocks, caves, trees, things like that, the bear was coming back because we had taken care of Mother Earth. That's probably a pretty good lesson right now, guys. We need to take care of what's here because we're losing it. We're losing it on a daily basis. And for me, one of these days, when you don't see a black bear, that's a much worse day for all of us as humans. A spiritual experience, honestly, for me, it's a better day when I see a bear. Maybe not in somebody's kitchen or their chicken coop, but it's a better day to see a bear because we know that there is still wilderness there that these guys need. Okay? So, I need a volunteer that's got some gumption. Come here, big man. You knew it was coming, didn't you? Huh? Love his haircut.
Same marker.
That's right. Can you put that on?
I got hair.
Yeah. She's checking her watch to see if it's time to go yet. Please call me, tell me that I've got something on the stove. All right, turn around, face the other direction. What kind of bear is this?
Black bear.
What?
Black bear.
Everybody said black bear?
No, cinnamon.
Cinnamon. Anybody say grizzly bear? Why?
No.
What?
No.
It's the skin. Okay. There wouldn't be a hump. There wouldn't be a hump. But that's right. That's right.
The length of the snout.
The length. The length of the snout. What about the size? Too small. Well, guys, I hear that every time. I hear that it's too small every time, but I can assure you guys, I didn't weigh 300 pounds when I was born either. We start out as cubs, and then we get bigger. You're indeed correct. This is a black bear. No question about it. This came from Los Animas County. The thing is, guys, black bears can be any color that we have. We've got bears with red hair, like that, beautiful hair. We've got bears with blonde hair. We have bears with kind of a different highlight, you know, as they molt and everything. It's a compliment, ma'am. It's a compliment. Well, see, the guy next to her is standing up for me. I really don't need that abuse. Okay? Guys, we have bears with every hair color that's in this room, including he and I with no hair. It's called mange. It's a disease. We don't talk about it much, all right? So, anything you see, guys, anything you see in Colorado is going to be a black bear. We do not have grizzly bears in Colorado anymore. The last grizzly bear was killed in 1979 over in the San Juan Mountains in an attack. Okay? If you're interested in finding more about that stuff, there's a great book out called Ghost Grizzlies. It talks about, is there a reason, you know, are there still grizzlies in Colorado? Could there be in those remote areas? You know why we don't have have bears in Colorado, or grizzly bears in Colorado anymore? Any idea?
Not enough food.
Not enough food?
Too many people.
What?
Too many people.
Too many people. We don't have grizzlies in Colorado anymore because of you. And you. And me. Guys, we're loving this state to death. And as we crowd it, wild animals don't have a place to go. Grizzlies need such remote areas that it's really unbelievable. Now, I've got some of the largest private land holdings probably in Colorado, over on my side against the New Mexico state line. I've had several reports of bears that were grizzlies. And I've baited them and I've sat on them and all this other stuff. Never, ever. Would I love to see one? You bet. But that's a different time. That's a different time, unfortunately. The difference between a black bear and a grizzly bear, guys, the black bears have 5 toes all pointing forward, as do grizzly bears, but black bears, their claws are short and rounded right in front of the toes. Okay? You very seldom, when you see a bear track, you very seldom will see the claw marks because they have pads, they have hair that covers that. They have hair that covers those toes, those claws. This is a barefoot, okay? And I hope it doesn't gross anybody out. Whatever this bear, we didn't harvest him so we could cut his feet off. But I wanted to show you what they look like. All right? This is a front foot. There's a pad right here, and then down here there's another pad separated by hair. Okay? I'll pass this around, but you don't. Okay. So that's separated by hair. Their feet are hinged like this. So when you put a bungee cord over your garbage can, he pulls it off. When you put a hummingbird feeder up, he grabs it. He'll actually sit down and drink it like a possum. He'll open, if you leave your windows down on your car this much and have an air freshener or a candy wrapper or anything like that in there, he'll pop that window open. Bears don't like to break glass. I hear this all the time that a bear came up and broke the window on my house. The only bear that I've ever seen in 48 years that went through a window, somebody had left the window open on the house, he got into the house, and then they came home, and it scared him so bad that he blew through a plate glass window. That's not the way he got in, but when he got scared, he blew out through that plate glass window. So guys, what I'm telling you, and I hope you pick up little tidbits along the way, keep your windows shut and locked on your car, on your house, whatever it is. Please keep your windows shut and locked. And people will, yes sir.
Does that mean doors too in the car?
What's that?
Doors on the car.
You want to lock your car doors too, not just the windows?
About the car doors?
Yeah.
When I was a child, you had to have an opposable thumb to open a car door. We're too lazy as humans to push in with a thumb and pull out with our hand. So now these doors flick open. These bears understand that. A lot of bears will go to those doors because they have had success going to one of those doors and the door flies open. If he gets in, because you've got a McDonald's wrapper under the seat, or you've got gum in the console, whatever it is, and that door swings shut, you might as well call the insurance company, because that's what's going to happen. Because what happens, guys, is as they get to moving around in there, they'll hit that automatic door lock. They can't get out. Okay? So that's why I say keep your windows all the way up and your doors locked for that very reason. Because they will, I've had two vehicles that I have investigated that the insurance company totaled them from the inside. Okay? Broke the windshield out, tore the dash completely off, all the wiring, all the seats, everything else. So you got to be real careful. That's a great point. Exactly. Guys, I get this, and it's hot. Some of us couldn't wear the bear hide for more than 2 minutes because it was so hot. I'm teasing. Don't be mad at me.
It's hot, isn't it?
How you doing? What? You're looking a little red there, but
We got a little warm.
too hot. A little warm. Go ahead and take it off. Give him a round of applause. What I tell people, guys, if you get the opportunity, I'll say this is my personal bias. If you live in Kachera, you got more money than God. So, if you can, think about putting bars over your window. And I always see people shaking their head and they get, oh, I didn't move here to put bars over my window. That's why I left Chicago. Guys, it's a different clientele now. It's a different clientele. And if you go off and forget to shut that window, and that bear gets inside your house, whether anybody's home or not, I've got to destroy it. It used to be, guys, it used to be that if we had a bear get in an unoccupied house, I kind of got a free pass. We caught him, got him up in the hills and banged him with some non-lethal rounds to go away. Not anymore. If that bear gets in the house, we're told to destroy it. Right?
What if we don't tell?
Why? Because of the liability aspect of us not doing anything possibly about a bear that could be a danger. Guys, I can tell you this. I have had bear. Are you bored? Are you leaving?
I'm going to the bathroom.
I give up. I'm done. Somebody won't wear the bear hide, and then she leaves. It's sad. Guys, I've had several bears in houses this year. It's not funny. It wasn't my house, so I guess it is. I get to the place, and I shine a flashlight in the window. There's a 300-pound boar in there, pulling everything out of the refrigerator and freezer, laying on the floor eating it. The person is hiding in the bedroom with guns, which is the right thing to do. Guys, if a bear gets in your house, while you're there, shut yourself in a room, call us. Game wardens are expendable, okay? We go in and get them out. Bears don't want to be in that house any longer than they have to. And they will go out the same way that they came in. In every case, do you have a question?
How do you get them out?
How do we get them out? This sounds kind of macho. I don't mean for it to. You just go in and get them out. You go in and move them. They don't want to, as I said, their aggression to me, is highly overrated. Any bear that I've had in a house, eventually you can move them back out the same way it came in. Okay? Now you probably saw this on, you back?
Something interesting stuff that I come back.
You decided you just couldn't live without hearing the rest of it.
Exactly.
Fabulous, isn't it? Okay. Guys, you probably saw on TV here not too long ago, had a guy a bear got in his house, and he killed it in his house. He left the back door open. He said that. And he killed it in his house. I'm not bad-mouthing that. You're allowed to do that. We're not naive. If you fear for your life, and you think you have to take lethal methods to protect yourself or your livestock, you are allowed to do that. You leave everything where it's at. We come and investigate and see just exactly what the scenario might have been. But I can tell you, having seen a couple of these, it's a heck of a mess when you shoot a bear in your house. Okay? When a bear is mad, when a bear is ready to fight, they spread their feet apart. They spread those feet like this. So they've got a larger punching surface, a larger swatting surface. Then they void themselves. They urinate, they defecate, they're ready to go. I was in a tree with a bear one night. She had a trap on her foot. I had to catch her. She was too high to dart, so I had to climb up in the tree. That was years ago when I was still young and agile. Anymore, I look at him and go, man. No. So I climbed up in the tree, and when she got to the very top of it, she had this trap on her foot. But when she got to the top, that was it. It was time to go. She did everything she did to get ready to fight. Right? So, that's what they're going to do. Think about it, guys. Going back to what we talked about, think about putting bars over your window. And I know it sounds ridiculous in this kind of community or anywhere in the hills. But as I say, it's a different clientele now. Plus, unfortunately, humans continue to break into places. Okay? I don't know if you've had a bunch of break-ins over here or anything like that. We do over there. So that those bars are going to help you a little more, because it doesn't matter much to me or my friend over here, but I've never seen a bathroom out in the hills here that you didn't leave the window open that much to let the steam go out, and you had shampoo, deodorant, whatever in your windowsill. Guys, bears love shampoo. Not a big factor for you and I, okay? But bears, they will go to shampoo and bite into it. I had a bear go through the side of a tent, grab a pillow out from under a little girl's head and jerk it out. And when I interviewed this young lady, she said, Mr. Holder, we did everything that you said. We were clean. I had just gone and showered. We didn't have any food in the tent. Nothing. I had just shampooed my hair. I said, and she had beautiful, long blonde hair. And I said, what did you use? And it was kind of an herbal essence type of shampoo. And that bear smelled that and went through the side and came out. Okay? Fortunately, she wasn't hurt or anything like that. 5 toes all pointing forward. The claws are always out. They are not retractable. They are not retractable like a mountain lion. This is the hind foot of a bear. Okay? The best way I can describe it is, when you go home, take your shoe off, step in that mud outside your door, and pull your foot back, and that's what it's going to look like. This is not hinged. This is a planted braid type thing. They're always on this pad. So one of the things in law enforcement, or just knowledge of bears, the front claws are longer than the back claws. The front claws are sharper than the back claws, because that's what they're using for climbing. They're off the ground, they're up in the tree, whatever it is, but those other 2 feet are always going to be on the ground. Okay? So that's one way we can tell whether it was a front foot or whatever. Some of you probably heard about the incident at Monument Lake here the first part of the summer. The bear swatted and hit the lady on top of the head through the tent. And there were puncture wounds on top of her head. It was not a bite. Okay, if it had been a bite, it would have been very, very severe. They had tents set up. There was a ball outside. The little child had like a beach ball outside, and in the middle of the night, that thing popped. Well, the baby, the toddler in there, started crying. The noise scared her. The mom pulled her down. She was sleeping up here by her head, pulled her down to her body, and about that time the bear went through the tent and hit her on top of the head. Guys, I'm going to say this, and please believe it. Bears are not malicious. Okay? They're not humans. They are not malicious. Bears react to things. And I tell everybody, and some of you probably know this if you've done any camping in grizzly country or anything like that. What I tell people to do is sleep in the middle of the tent. Don't sleep along the edge, because that movement may precipitate that bear to slap. You think about it. This bear's walking out here in the grass, got all 4 feet on the ground, and something jumps up underneath him. He's going to pounce on it, because it may be a fawn deer, a calf elk, whatever it is. That's something to eat. So that movement along that tent sometimes will precipitate that kind of incident. I've had 3 of them. That there was movement inside the tent, and the bear was through the tent and grabbed the people and were dragging them out before they could reach the bottom of their sleeping bag. Again, what I'm saying is they are not there to rape and pillage. Okay, the Huns are gone. These bears are reacting. They are reacting to things. Okay, they're reacting to movement or noise or whatever it is. Right? So, going back to the hides, I chose you for one reason. I chose you for another reason to wear those hides. When I first started giving this program 47 years ago, I always wore the hide because it was cool. Everybody would take pictures. You know, you took pictures, didn't you? Huh? Everybody would take pictures of it and everything else. There's bugs in these hides. So, what happened, they got in and they chewed the follicles underneath the scalp, and I haven't had any hair. You're good. You're good. I wouldn't make another hair appointment. No, they're good. Usually, what I do, you know, honestly, I do need some volunteers. Is there anybody who wants to do this? Absolutely not. Laura. Huh? See? That's what you get.
I had a feeling you were going to do that.
Well, if somebody had volunteered, I wouldn't have done that. Okay? And guess who else? Yeah, see?
That's because there's no kids in the audience.
Guys, as I said, we use capture equipment. The dart guns that we can shoot from here to the end of the room. When you go and get a shot, if any of you got the booster before, well, never mind. Ours are 16 gauge needles. They're about that big around. So when it hits, all of that drug is injected quickly. And I'm going to show you how we do this. I've chosen some of the smaller people? Because the drugs act quicker. When I guard myself, it may be 3 hours. Bad deal. Guys, before we go on, now that you know that bears can be any color, what kind of bear is this? Huh? Black bear? Everybody agree? Well, it doesn't matter how big it is.
Is it a bear or is it another animal? Is that possibly another animal and not a bear? We don't see its head.
Well, we don't, the head's gone on this one. Okay. Black bear?
Yeah.
Different color face?
Yes.
Good. It's an elk eye. We need a few more of these programs. Going different route. Okay. Here you go, Laura. Do you guys know Laura? She's the interpretive ranger at Lathrop and is doing a fabulous job down there. Okay.
That's cute.
Okay, I got to talk to my bears for just a second. Talk amongst yourself. Talk about the program sucks or it's wonderful. Okay, whichever you decide. So, ready, break. Okay, here we go.
Can they turn around so we can see them?
No. No, yeah, go ahead. All right.
We need a good photo.
Assume the positions there, boys and girls. Guys, if you have to stand up to see this, you don't want to miss this. Black bears. We're talking about black bears. Black bears. I may have to give my hearing aid to some of the black bears. No black bears. These are grown adults, people. These are grown adults down on their hands and knees, covered up with little hides. Guys, what I'm trying to show here is in Colorado, all we have are black bears. We don't have grizzly bears. Grizzly bears. Grizzly bears. Grizzly bears. We don't have grizzly bears. We have black bears. Black bears. See why I don't go to church? No? All we have are black bears. Different color phases. The last grizzly bear was killed in 1979. We still have black bears. We don't have grizzly bears. Go to Montana. Go to Montana, you've got grizzly bears. And black bears. Grizzly bears. And black bears. We don't have grizzly bears in Colorado. We have black bears. round of applause. Or I'm going to keep you one last second because these people don't seem to want to be participating. Poor Laura. She fits the bear hide, so. Okay. All right. You tired or are you bored? Are you bored? I've seen better programs. So, okay, so when you see a bear, guys, this is how it's going to be. It's out there walking around on all fours. You're taking the trail back to the Farley, loop for flowers or whatever you're doing, and you come around the corner and you step on a stick.
Smiles and waves.
So you come around the corner and you step on a stick, this is what's going to happen. They don't automatically raise their hands. What's going to happen, guys, is he's going to stand up, he or she is going to stand up on their hind legs because they're trying to see what's going on. I can see up here in the front. If these people nod off, I'm going to say something. You guys in the back are going, brother. But when I stand up and I can see that stuff in the back, that's exactly what she's doing. She's standing up, not as a sign of aggression. I hear this all the time. Mitchell, that bear stood up and he was coming at me and swinging his arms. No, they don't do that, okay? When this bear stands up, they're trying to catch your scent. All bears smell the same. If you ever get a chance to smell one, or smell one of our bear tracks, it's a real strong, acrid odor. And once you recognize it, have you smelled them, ma'am? Once you recognize that, once you've had that smell, you won't forget it. But we all smell bad to these guys, regardless. Your perfumes, your deodorants, your cologne, whatever it is. She's trying to catch the wind. The wind up here is stronger than it is down at ground level. Okay? So she's going to stand up. Again, not as a sign of aggression. She's curious. She's trying to figure out what the noise was, what she's smelling, whatever it is. Okay? So please don't consider that the bear is going to be charging you this way. When they charge you, it's a flat out run at you. You're going to need a putt cutter over a bear hide? That's your fault for weighing 90 pounds. Give her a round of applause. Yes, sir.
What are you supposed to do if you're walking and that happens?
Great question. That's where I'm going.
Okay.
I appreciate that.
All right.
Okay? Raise your arms up above your head. Make yourself look as... Give me all your money. I don't even look at anymore. Raise your arms up above your head. Make yourself look as big as possible. I'm telling you guys, they are easily intimidated. Okay? A male bear is called a boar. Some of you husbands are that way, okay? Males are called a boar, female called a sow, S-O-W, and the babies, of course, are called cubs. When you run into that bear, raise up on a coat like you have. Is that zip up the front?
Yes.
Come up here if you could, sir, please. A lot of times when bears attack, they strip you naked. So I'm going to show you what happens. Okay. All right, so you run into, so I'm a bear. If you're wearing a coat like this or a sweater or something, grab the corners, pull it up around behind your head, both sides.
I can do this.
Okay. Yeah, pull it up around behind your head. That gives you a bigger silhouette. Okay? They can't afford to get hurt, guys. They can't afford to get hurt. They're going to back away. They're going to be going away. They don't want to deal with you. So, when you run into this time he's the bear. Okay? You ready? Can you growl? You're running? Okay. All right, this time he's the bear. I run into him, I raise my arms up above my head. Back away from the bear. Don't go back up this way because you're going to trip over the backpack or your dog or whatever it is. Then you're on the ground. You're not intimidating anymore. Okay? Back away from him. Look out the corner of your eye. Use your peripheral vision. I can see what this bear is doing. I can also see this lady's nodding off right here. Okay? Peripheral vision. Talk to him. Don't yell and scream. Talk to him. I tell people, in that situation, if you know the Lord's Prayer, that may be the time to step back away. Talk to him. Get away from it. Okay? Oh, bear, you don't want to eat me, no sir, blah, blah, blah. They are easily intimidated. Thank you, sir. Give them a round of applause. But at the same time, guys, carry this. How many of you, by a show of hands, how many of you have pepper spray? Bear's pepper spray. Guys, carry it with you. I will guarantee this stuff. I have used it on bears and mountain lions at too close range. And I'm not being, again, this isn't said to be macho or anything like that, but I have put myself in those situations to see how effective this stuff is. The lion that I sprayed with this, the first thing that was for me to this gentleman right here, the first thing she did was put her face in the grass and started scooting it around, trying to get that out of her eyes. She had no more concern about me. Okay? We had an incident over in my country, over in Trinidad, along the New Mexico state line, where a man was running. Slight built man. He's running. He's wearing white jogging shorts. Okay. He's running down the road. So there's a steady cadence there. When deer jump, you've all seen these mule deer. It's called stotting. Boom, boom, boom. That's how they jump. So you've got a man running through the trees, wearing white shorts, which is the same color as the rump of a deer. And even me, as a game warden, could read this sign. As he ran by down this road, mountain lion sitting right here on the edge of the road. He feels something brush by his leg, and he falls and turns around, and the lion is for me to this gentleman right here. She missed the attack, but she's face to face with it. He picked up a bunch of gravel, threw it in the lion's face. Nothing. The lion made a slight noise, took a step towards it. He said he picked up a rock, a great big rock, hit the lion full in the face. The lion took another step towards it. Like I said, this was a slight built man. But when he realized that he was about to be attacked, he did what most humans would do. He stood up and got ready to take that attack. As soon as he stood up, the lion turned and left him. There was no injury, no scratch, no bite, nothing. And the lion had him in that perfect predicament. But when he reached his full height, the lion turned and ran. So I'm telling you guys, these things are, they're tried and true. I try to tell people, listen to people that have experienced. If some of you in this room have experienced these kinds of things, talk to your neighbors and tell them what to do, but give them the right information. My favorite phrase, and this will probably be deleted. I go to the restroom every day, but I don't tell a plumber how to do his job, okay? Don't tell a game warden what should be done with a bear or mountain lion, because most of us have dealt with them and been there up close and personal. So please trust us. Trust us to make the right decision. Now, occasionally, as much as it pains you, and as much as it pains us, we have to euthanize animals. And I can tell you right now, guys, I've cried more tears over having to put a bear down than you can possibly imagine. Because he or she didn't deserve it. When somebody calls me and says, hey, I've got a problem bear or a nuisance bear, I tell them right then, this conversation's done. Until you can refer to them with respect, I'm not talking about it. Okay? Thank you. Guys, we've got to respect these animals. We moved into their bedroom. Bottom line is, we moved into their bedroom. Sooner or later, you're going to see one. You're going to confront one. That's because we live in their bedroom. Okay? So please, yes, sir.
A lot of us here walk our dogs. What do we do when we have a dog and we encounter a bear?
Shoot yourself. No, I'm obviously being facetious. But I don't, that concerns me. And I'll tell you why. As long as you've got a dog on a leash that you can control, that's good. But people that go out and, well, Fido's going to come running back to me. You bet he is. With a bear on his tail or a mountain lion. And he's going to run back to you for protection. Carry this stuff with you, sir. Seriously. It's a good, excellent, non-lethal way of keeping those things away from you. But when you're walking your dog, please make sure that you've got that dog under control. Because they will chase bears, they will chase lions, they will chase deer, elk, whatever it is. Okay? And I always hear this, my dog wouldn't do it. Yes, it will. Yes, ma'am.
My dog did that. It's not the dog I have now. A friend who took him out over there and took him into the mountains in the United States. And the dog was off leash. My friend hadn't even brought a leash. And my dog saw a sow with the cub, the mother with the cub, chased the bear up the hill. When the bear finally got tired of being chased, turned around and brought the bear back to my friend. He was not hurt, but it definitely was exactly what happened.
That's a great point. Guys, that brings up another point. Sows with cubs are not inherently more dangerous than a boar is. Okay? They are not, because I get this on a daily basis. There's a sow and a cub, and I know I can't get my house because the sow and the cub are out there. What that sow is going to do 9 times out of 10 is make a verbalization, put those cubs up a tree, she's going to take off. Because she knows her cubs are safe. My kids? If I wouldn't put them in the tree, come back 10 minutes later, they're gone. Those cubs will stay in that tree for days if they need to. Do not. And I try not to get emotional about this stuff. Do not assume that a cub by itself is orphaned. Okay? Sows don't abandon their cubs. People abandon their cubs. Sows don't. If there's a cub by itself, and you see it consistently for days or whatever, something has happened to mom. I got a call the other day from a trucker on the interstate. As he's driving to Albuquerque, he looks off in the grass from his big vantage point, and there's a sow dead on the road. And there's a live cub with him. But the person that hit it didn't have the respect enough to call that in. So when I get there, there's 2 live cubs on this mom. And they'll stay right there with mom. They'll curl up next to her. They'll lay on top of her. It'll break your heart. I will guarantee it. I'm going to tell you guys, let me back up on something. Too late?
Not yet.
I'm sorry. Guys, I get to talking about bears and it goes on and on, and I apologize for that.
No need.
But keep me, keep me honest. Shoot me, use pepper spray. Each and every one of you guys in this room is special. When I talk to the kids, I always ask, who's special in here? And nobody raises their hand. These are kids. These are kids that we're raising and teaching and everything else. How many of you are special? Nobody raises their hands. Okay, yeah, you guys, exactly. Because each and every one of us is special. But I can assure you guys, when you get in the hills, you're not the most special thing around. Okay? You are not the most special thing around. You talk on your cell phone, you can look at your Fitbit, whatever it is. But I take you and put you in a cave up here, like a bear goes into, and you're there for 6 months. You don't urinate or defecate for all of that time. And when you come out, you've got the same lean muscle mass as when you went in. Break a leg, go to the hospital. See if that muscle doesn't atrophy on you. Not those bears. They come out with that same lean muscle mass. They burn all of that brown fat that they're putting on right now. Hyperphagia right now. 20 hours a day they're feeding. They're taking in 20,000 calories. That's the same as you and I going down to McDonald's and eating 35 Big Macs. Great. But a bear does it 1 pinion nut, 1 acorn, 1 choke cherry at a time. He's got to feed 20 hours a day. So you're going to see bears in the middle of the day. You're going to see them in the middle of the day. They breed in the spring. Once again, we're special. We got population problems. Bears, when they breed, it's a delayed implantation. That fertilized egg, that boar breeds and fertilizes that egg, will last all summer long. And if that sow doesn't have enough fat on her, when it's time to go to the den, her body tells her, can't do it, man. Can't have cubs. And that blastocyst will not implant in the uterus, and she comes in the cycle again. But if she's got enough body fat, she's going to have cubs. You've got 6 nipples, 4 anterior, 2 posterior. They're the best moms you've ever seen in your life. Yes, sir.
Since we're having such a lush summer, is there a good chance that, we'll see a lot of twins next spring?
What's that?
Since we're having such a lush summer, is there a good chance that we'll see a lot of twins next year?
The question was, we're having such a lush summer, is there a good chance that there will be twins next summer? Yeah. Yeah. Except, one of the things that is killing us right now, we don't have any acorns. Some of you guys may have acorns, and I hope to the big man upstairs that you do. Because that's what they're dependent on when they go into hyperphagia. That's why we have so many bears in southern Colorado. Because of the amount of Gamble's oak that produces acorns. When that late snow came, and everybody was thrilled to death because we got snow and running water and everything else, I didn't open my eyes the next morning because I knew what was coming for the bears. There's no acorns out there. So we continue to have problems. But in a good year, you bet, the younger bears will usually have a single. As they get older, they'll have doubles, and they may have a triple. Okay? They have them in the den. They're about the size of this when they're born. And when they come out, they may weigh 10 or 15 pounds. Just from mother's milk. And she comes out with the same muscle mass that she went in with. Special? Yeah, we're special. Man, I can drive that truck. Otherwise, I don't match them. Okay? So please respect what's up. Yes, ma'am.
Along the lines of the bear spray, I worked in bear country outside for 20 years, and I was always conscious of the wind. I got to where I carried a miniature air horn. Are air horns effective, for boating and stuff?
Did you guys hear that? She has worked with bears before. This pepper spray, it'll shut you down. It will shut you down, okay? You've got to be real careful, but in a bad situation, I'd rather be coughing and spewing than having a bear on top of me, okay? But she said that she also carried an air horn. Sometimes noise will work, banging pots and pans together, yelling. People say they shoot in the air, okay? If you do that, the sound at the muzzle where you shoot is a lot louder than it is downrange. And these bears are used to hearing trees falling, lightning hitting, and things like that. So, the air horn's great. It's a foreign sound. Have that pepper spray with you, but yeah. And I've done it. I've chased bears, sprayed them. As they're running through the oak brush, it hits the leaves, bounces back at me. The bears are over here coughing and spewing. I'm over here coughing and spewing. And the tourists think it's just great. So you're right, though. You have to be real careful on that. So watch yourself with that. Sir.
Where do you get the bear spray at?
Where do you get it? I sell it. $100. No, listen, I'm being facetious. If you need bear spray, if you run into a bad situation, get a hold of your local wildlife officer and they will supply it, okay, if possible, if we have enough of it, rather than have to put a bear down. Other than that, probably online, I don't know, Cabela's maybe. In Trinidad, we have, they're carrying it at Big R, I guess, and Monument Lake has it, and all that Fisher's Peak Outfitters downtown is supposed to be carrying it. Guys, I guarantee this stuff. Yes, sir.
So back on you were talking about when a bear gets in a house or other things, if you have to put the bear down as a liability issue. So are you saying that the bear has not somehow inherently become more dangerous, but instead it's just that the wildlife service just has to say, well, this bear got in, we can't take a chance, somebody might sue us if they get in another place, so we better put it down. Is Is that the thing, or do bears?
I think, honestly, sir, no, honestly, guys, I don't, I think you're correct. I think the, oh boy, this may be my last day on the job. I think the people that don't work with bears think that they're a lot more dangerous in that environment. And of course, you're in a closed environment. But guys, I've been in houses with them. I've been under houses with them. I held a sow bear off one day with a piece of firewood while I was trying to clear the furniture she had knocked over for her to get out of the house. And again, not being macho or anything else. Because if they want you, they got you. Okay? But I think you're right. I mean, it becomes one of those, well, wait a second. This bear was in this house, and then the next day it kills somebody or bites somebody, and you didn't do anything about it. It's the same old thing. That falls back on the people that deal with it, you know. But like, you can keep them out, guaranteed. You can keep them out. So, guys, I'll tell you what, I have no idea what time it is. You are probably getting bored to tears. I will stay. Yes, ma'am.
I'm still thinking about you and the bear up the tree with him having the snare, the trap on him, and then you stopped when he had, you know, he was going to evacuate himself. And I still have all this picture, and I'm wondering how that story ends.
He attacked me and I was disfigured. This is. Hey, I do the best I can with what I've got. No, listen. I was able to see. I don't like to dart them, guys. I don't like to use a dart gun because you've got to hit them in the muscle. Okay, if you sneak one in past the muscle and hit them in the belly, you're probably going to lose that bear. So I like to use a jab stick. So when I like to get close enough to them to jab them, so I know where I'm hitting. And I was able to get close enough to her and jab her, and had people at the bottom to catch her when she fell out. So things worked out just fine. I've got the trap. I will keep that the rest of my life as a memento. And yeah, but it worked out just fine. I was bitten last summer. I had I'm sorry guys to go on and on. This is a bear skull. Okay? That's a bear skull. This right back here is called the sagittal crest. Okay, that's for muscle attachment. Take the back of feel the back of your head. Do you have a crest there anymore? No. That's because we're sissies. When you go and buy a nice steak, you go into dinner and have a nice steak. Is the hide still on it? Is there any gristle on it even? No, time. You get a nice fillet wrapped in bacon. Generally, that doesn't happen. All right. But this bear has the same scenario as you and I. Those teeth right there are called canines. Do we have canines? You bet we do, right here. My grandma always called them eye teeth. I thought my grandma was an alcoholic. What I'd like to think now, knowing a little bit about this and where she grew up and everything else, is that she was talking about bears, because this tooth right here, that canine goes all the way to his eye. When you pull that, this is a bear canine. Okay? All that sticks out is that part right there. The rest of it goes clear to his eye. So when he bites and holds. Okay, when the bear bit me, I don't pass out. had one canine go in here, had the other canine hit the bone, went along and then went in and he locked. Had to put a pipe in behind my arm and pry his mouth open to get the canines out. Okay?
Was the bear dead?
No, it was alive.
Well, and you were alone?
No.
Who did that? I mean, was the bear still, did you guard it or?
Well, here's what happened.
Yeah.
This is a personal opinion. The drug that we're using is not very good, in my opinion. You might want to edit some of it. So I already had ear tags in him. And I was reaching down to we do a lip tattoo, we do 2 ear tags, and we do a pit tag along the sagittal crest, just like your dog probably has. Okay? I reached down to do the lip tattoo, which is clear back in here, and before I could hit his head, before I reached his head, he whirled around and locked down on me. Wasn't the bear's fault. It was not the bear's fault, but see, the bad part of this, they put the bear down because they bit it. I dealt with the pain and all that other, I'm not being macho, don't get me wrong. I dealt with the pain, it was all really kind of humorous. I called my wife, I said, hey, a bear bit me. She said, okay, I'll see you at the hospital. It was like, okay, my son's also game warden. He's also been bitten. But the bear that bit him had canine distemper. And so he got that. The bear that he had was not, he had drugged it. Jeez. The bear that he had drugged it. Brought it back to the office, had another big boar in a trap, went to get it, came back to work this bear. His partner raised the door a little bit, the bear squirted out from underneath. My son, who was a big dude, powerlifter, pins this bear to the ground. Pins it to the ground. Full out, she's wide awake. And it so unnerved his partner that he couldn't get the door open to get the bear back in. So once she was able to turn her head and figure out where he was, she started raking him across the chest and bit him 3 times on the arm. And then he let go. And he called me that day, and I could tell, you know when your kid calls and says, everything's okay. Right? Your Corvette is off in the cliff now, yeah. Everything's fine, Dad. I said, what's going on? He tells me. I said, Zach, I've been doing this at that time for 35, 37 years. I said, I've never been bitten. I've never been scratched. What the hell are you thinking? What the hell were you thinking? And this is when I knew that he was going to be one of the best game wardens that you'll ever find. He said, Dad, she was my responsibility. So I'll take that. I'll take the scratches. I'll take the bites. I'll take the blood, whatever it is. About 5 days later, that bear turned up in town. And a lady called and said, hey, I got a bear in my backyard. He's not acting right. Can you come over? Zach went over and it was that bear that had bit him. The bear crawled under a car. Zach was going to have to put him down. And the bear looked at him, turned her head back, laid down and died.
Wow.
And when he called me, he was sobbing like a little baby. He said, Dad, I'm done. I can't do it anymore. I cannot do this anymore. Because see, we got to put these bears down. Yes, sir.
You mentioned that bears are afraid of us most of the time, and especially if we increase our size. But as they get contact with humans, do they lose their fear and they can be more aggressive?
I don't disagree with you in the sense.
I mean, I'm asking, is that the case?
I think so. I don't think that aggression is the word to use, but they become accustomed. Okay, they become accustomed to it. You know, this lady feeds them every day. You-
In some cases, they can attack you if they have enough familiarity with a human.
The chances of attack are very, very slim. If, however, and some of the things that have happened in the state have proven this out, people that have fed them, then those bears become accustomed to that, and the expectation is that this lady, that gentleman, has food, and that's what they're going to. So don't let them become accustomed to you guys. One other thing that you might think about is if you have a weapon, a 12 gauge, rubber bullets, non-lethal rounds. We give these out, guys. We give these out. If you need them, contact your officer and say, man, we want to do something to help here. Let us shoot this bear with these non-lethal rounds. Because like I said, they're used to hearing noise. But when they hear noise and then get stung with one of these, then they're thinking about it. Then they know there's an issue. Additionally, electric fence. We keep bears out of commercial beehives with electric fence. So chicken coops, garbage containers, whatever it is, you can do that because we're supposed to be smarter than they are. Okay? Yes, sir.
Why are bears tagged? I've got wildlife cameras, and sometimes the bears that come around will have a tag in one ear, maybe two ears. Why do you guys tag the bears?
Great question. Great question. When you see a bear now, when I started my career, we would move bears and didn't tag them. That wasn't part of the scenario. Okay, then as we got more and more people, we started tagging them. And the way it would be was, as they ran out of ears, they ran out of time. We'd tag them once, second time, tag them again. The third time, that was it. There was a 3-strike policy. It's not that way anymore. If I catch a bear, he's double ear tagged immediately. One in both ears. There's an ear tag in there that talks about human consumption, because that drug will not be metabolized for 30 to 45 days. So a human can't eat that. Okay, so if a hunter kills one, we have a mandatory check on bears. We have to put a seal on them, take a tooth, all kinds of stuff. So 2 ear tags means that bear has only been caught once. And I can tell you guys, when you see a bear that's been ear tagged, if it were considered a dangerous bear by any of our supervisors, it would be destroyed. He wouldn't get any ear tags. I have killed bears, and I'm not proud of this. I'm just telling you guys what the consequences are. I have killed adult boars, big male bears, over 2 chickens.
Oh.
Yeah. Here's $15. Go down to Colonel Sanders and buy yourself ready-made. 2 chickens. The largest bear that I have ever dealt with in my career, in May, just after he came out of hibernation. This was, without question, the most magnificent animal that I have ever seen in 48 years. The most magnificent bear that I have ever seen or will ever see in my life. I had to put him down because he killed a pot-bellied pig. They kept it in a little place with pallets so that kids could throw garbage to it. And I had to throw it.
Is that uniform, I mean, for all the national forests, 2 tags and then you're out, or is it forest by forest? Is it the same in New Mexico?
Well, no, I won't say that it's the same in New Mexico, but it's the same all over Colorado. I can tell you that. And each tag, see ours in the southeast are yellow tags. The northwest may be red tags, and the southwest may be blue tags. So we know if we see a bear from there. Plus, like on a New Mexico tag, I've looked at enough of them. There's a little nipple on part of that tag, and I can tell that's a New Mexico tag because it's a different kind of tag than we're using. Yes, sir.
If you have to remove a bear, how far do you take it away from its normal range to be assured it may not return?
I will, that's a great question. I will take it as far as I possibly can. And that doesn't answer your question, but I will take it just as far as I possibly can. And by the same token, and I'll admit it here, and it'll be like young Frankenstein, you guys will have fire and coming after me when I leave here. But I take every bear that they'll get in Colorado Springs and put it down there along the New Mexico state line. Why? Because those bears haven't done anything wrong. East of the interstate, they catch bears. That's their mandate. If it's east of the interstate, they catch bears. And these bears have not done anything wrong. Okay, so that being said, sir, if I catch one in Trinidad, I'm going to take it as far north as I possibly can. Okay, one of the guys will take it, Forest Service land, whatever it is. So we take them as far as we can. Doesn't do any good to move one up the canyon. They'll be right back. One tag, somebody said, one time you'll have just one tag or whatever. They will pull those tags, breeding or fighting. They'll bite, they'll pull those tags and that kind of stuff. That's why maybe you're only seeing one tag. Or it could be an old bear that just had one tag. So
I'm very happy to hear you say that you guys move them, because what I've heard coming from Eagle County is there's not the resources or the funds to move these bears, so they euthanize them. And at least up in Eagle County, it's a one strike. And I had contact with Beaver Creek homeowners. They killed 30 bears in 1 year, and they kept it on the lowdown because they didn't want to upset people. Does that sound correct? Yeah.
well, it sounds correct in the sense that we, at some point, we all work for somebody.
Right.
You know what I mean? And somebody is telling you that bear needs to be put down. And every time, I will call a supervisor because I will not do it. I will not do it if I can keep from it. It's just, they're trying to survive. We moved into their bedroom. Anyway. Yes, ma'am.
Sir, are you saying then for this bear that killed the 2 chickens, is it just because he killed livestock that we have to put him down?
Yep.
And what about if the homeowner said, I just wanted to let you know and it's okay?
Well, if the landowner is that courteous or that gracious, yeah.
Or not
But
even
these same,
really,
what's that?
not even really call you, really.
And that's
even
people's
better.
prerogative. If they can live with them, if they can utilize rubber bullets and pepper spray and all of those other things, all of those non-lethal things, we've got bear boards that have screws sticking up through them. Because those bears are soft-footed. They don't want to step on anything sharp. You put those around your windows and stuff, they step on that, they're going to pull the foot back, they don't want to stay on it. Okay, so there are ways that we can work with that. But, like this lady said, bears are euthanized from time to time. That it's very difficult.
Do the rubber bullets penetrate them or do they pop off?
No, the only time I've had rubber bullets penetrate, I had some rocket scientist that had a bear in his chicken coop, a little bear, one of those dangerous, ferocious things, and shot him, stuck the gun against him and shot him.
Oh.
The pellets went in, ruptured his diaphragm, everything, but wait on this one. My wife and I took that bear that night to our rehab facility in Frisco Creek, and the gentleman that was there was one of the most wonderful people in the world. We operated on, I'll say we, because I had to just stand there and hold things and this and that. But he operated on that bear for several hours, stitched up that diaphragm and everything else, and we were able to turn that bear loose later on. So, yeah, so it's, guys, the one thing that I will say is I'll speak for myself. This is my whole life. At the expense of my family and friends. They understand, and this sounds pretty grandiose, and Laura's heard it before. My job comes first. My job comes first. Because you know those bears and those mountain lions and deer and elk and things like that, they don't know that it's Easter. They don't know that it's Christmas. They don't know it's a holiday. They're still living out there trying to make a living when some person is trying to kill them or taking their habitat away or things like that. And I'm not a martyr or anything else, but I took an oath to protect wildlife. A wildlife officer is 10 times more likely to be assaulted on the job than a city policeman or a state trooper or anybody like that, and we're twice as likely to be killed in an assault because of the places that we work and things like that. But I took an oath, and as did my son, and he's the best game warden I've ever been around. That's what we do. And again, I'm not being macho. Nobody wants to go into that situation. I was here 6 months. I was 22 years old when I caught some guys poaching in the middle of the night. Ended up shooting up a truck with a guy sitting in it, with one of our officers sitting in it. Changed my life right there. I knew it wasn't a game. Okay? I knew it wasn't a game. I'm going to finish up, guys, because you guys have been tremendous. I do need some help. You gentlemen, can you guys help me? Just hold that thing. I'm not putting it on you. I'm not putting it on you. Just hold that up and spread it out. Spread it out. Guys, we don't joke around about this. That's a grizzly bear. We don't have those anymore. Their claws are long, 1.5 to 2 inches in front of their feet, in front of their toes. They're the top of the food chain. They don't climb trees, can they? Yeah, but they don't have to. That's the top of the food chain. This bear was shot in Alaska, in a national park. Guy flew around, found the bear, sent a guy out, sent the plane down, sent a guy out there in the national park, took off again, hazed the bear to this guy, and he shot him. That's a bear you'll never get to see. That doesn't touch the ground. That's like the American flag right there, guys. We don't joke around. I don't put that on anybody or anything like that.
Touching the ground, Cooper.
Because that's the top of the food chain. And you and I will never get to experience that bear in the wild. That guy wasn't a hunter. You notice I didn't use that word. He was a poacher. I could use some other vulgarity, but if you're recording this, I'm probably going to lose my job anyway. So, I'm just telling you guys that, and I'll say it again, you have no comprehension what it means to me personally to have you guys sit here tonight and listen to my BS and my stories and all these other things, because it's not, you didn't come here for me. You came here for those bears, and I applaud you for that. Like I said, I get started talking about bears and I never end. Worst day of my life And I have lost family and loved ones and everything else. Worst day of my life is going to be the day I can't wear this shirt anymore. Because then I don't get to interact with you guys. I don't get to see these things. I don't get to go the places I go. I applaud you guys for caring. I really do. I'm not BSing. It means the world to me for you guys to sit here and listen to this stuff. And I will stick around and answer any questions. If it takes all night, I'll answer any questions you have. I hit all of my law enforcement contacts with this. If you have any questions, comments, criticisms, or complaints about my demeanor or the way this program was handled this evening, please tell me now. I've been doing it for 48 years, but you can always be better at what you do. So if you have suggestions,